Alrighty, so today I want to talk about support units in Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Now, you can see I was searching for one of them, but let's go ahead and go back to our handy-dandy cards page. You guys, I'm sure you love when I open up videos on here. You know I'm about to cook, right? But this is something that I've been asked to do. I feel like it might be one individual, but I've seen this comment like a bunch of times. And they're asking me to rank support units. Now, specifically, I don't want to like rank from, 1 to 10 or however many characters I have pulled up here in my tabs. What I prefer to do is sort of just go over some of the best support units in the game, right? And what I try to do is do my absolute best to keep them towards characters that you're going to be able to run at all levels of content, right? I didn't want to just because we could easily go back and find like a support unit from 2019 and be like, oh yeah, this is a really good one, right? Or you think about a unit like the banner unit Trunks and Giru, where they're going to make GT characters look a lot better. But with that, you're sacrificing a spot on the team with a character that takes a normal. It's just, while I'm finished, right? Like it's over. The fight's done. So keep that in mind, right? Like I was trying my best to stay within the level of support characters that are good in the game right now. And yeah, so keep in mind, when I go through this list, these characters are not in order. These are just some of the best support characters in Dokkan right now. So I hope you guys enjoy this one, and let's go ahead and hop right into this. So the first character, this is, so when we talk about ranking them, this probably is the best support unit in the game. Just in terms of an individual kit, as well as the support that they're providing. It's tough to find a character better than this one, right? So what we're going to be focusing on today, specifically when we evaluate these kits, is not so much the individual kits themselves, more of their support aspects. So with this character, we are going to be raising superclass allies attack and defense by 30% for 1 turn on their 18 key, which is super easy to get. The 24 key is not a guarantee every time, but the 18 key basically is, just with the way that they orb change and stuff like that. And then when we look at the support they're going to be giving, if there is another Movie Heroes or All Out Struggle, or Desperate Struggle, excuse me, category ally attacking the same turn, we get an additional damage reduction of 15%, and for 2 turns, we are giving 77% defense. So not only is this character one of the 6 best units in the game, this is also a character that's giving permanent 77% support if you are running 2 of them and you keep them on rotation. So that is why this character is definitely one of the best in the game for support. This is that rare combo of support as well as their own individual power as well, right? You think about characters like Beast Gohan who give key support and crit support on their unit super. You think about characters like Orange Piccolo who give key support and stuff like that. This is another example of one of those characters where they hold their own and they also make the team better. So that is something that is pretty rare because a lot of these characters on this list are not going to be as good as this character. So let's go ahead and move on, and this is going to be Broly in the first turn, really, because when we go to Legendary Super Saiyan, things do change. But for that first turn, this is technically a support unit, right? So I'm just going to kind of bend the rules a little bit just to talk about him, right? In the first or second spot, we are getting key to attack and defense plus 60%. Helps in those early turns for a character like Tech Broly that you're running him with, if you get him paired up with Cell Max, AGL full power Broly, right? And then we transform him, and he's not quite that anymore, but it is what it is. He becomes a non-support unit, so just that base form Broly is the only form. So this one is very much like an asterisk, so don't look too much into this one, but I at least wanted to talk about the base form because he doesn't really die and also gives support. So this is technically a support unit. Let's move on. The next character on this list is going to be Tech UI Goku. Now, you guys can see that this is a super attack character, or a character that's going to be giving a lot of support on their super attack effects, right? Because we are going to be raising allies defense by 30% on the 12 key, and then on our additional, or the 18 key, excuse me, and then on the additional 12 key, we are going to be raising attack by 30%. So this character, you put him in slot 1, you pair him with UI Goku, you do the supers. First, this character in slot 1 is going to make AGL UI Goku hit a lot harder. And then when it is, I believe it's when we go into the domain, right? When we go into here. Let's see where I can find this. He gives dodge support. I know he does. Is it the domain effect? Where in the world is that bad boy? Let me just talk about this, right? All allies attack and defense plus 59% for 1 turn. And then we have he gives allies like 10% chance to dodge. I'm just not seeing it in the here it is, excuse me. Gain key +7, attack and +59%, evade all enemy attacks, and all allies chance to evade enemy attacks +10% for 1 turn. So he's also giving dodge chance or dodge support on the team, which for a lot of characters in this game is very nice, right? An additional 10% literally never hurts you, unless we were talking about like Beast Gohan or a character that likes to take that hit, Evolution Blue Vegeta. But, you know, especially when we're talking about new fights like the Janemba fights and the Super Gogeta fights where these supers, they just like, you know, we're literally on like turn 2 and the super's like, okay, here's 4 million, deal with it, right? It's always nice to have a little bit of dodge support, right? It never hurts to have a little bit extra dodge. You never know, because unless you're like AGL-UI Goku turn 1, if you're a character that has like 90% damage reduction, there's a good chance that super is going to pierce through a little bit and do some damage. So 10% dodge support is very helpful, and then this character also is like physical trio where they are also good themselves. So let's go ahead and move on to the next support unit that I want to talk about, and that is going to be Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. These two are giving a lot of support for the superheroes category, right? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, these stack. So if you are a superhero character, you are a joined forces character, and you are a defender of justice character, you are going to be getting attack and defense plus 150%. I believe that's how that one works, but even if you're not, if you're just on one of these categories, 50% support for a character like the Gammas, where, you know, you're getting damage reduction where you do the 3 attacks. This is a really good floating unit, right? And then just being able to give this support, like even when we move into the standby mode, like we're still getting that support when we're in here, right? So this is just an all-in-all really a good support character, right? And they also individually have their own feats that they can pull off and do damage, be defensive. When it comes to like the superheroes team, though, like this isn't the most defensive character on the team, obviously, but with that 3rd attack that they do, and when they get their damage reduction and stuff like that with the in orbs that they need, this character they hold their own very well. This is a very well designed unit, and the support that they're giving for one of the best teams in the game, you know, there's definitely contention now that we are out of the worldwide download celebration. It's not just superheroes and then a gap, right? So the superheroes team, still one of, if not the best team in the game, and this is a 50% support unit for them that also can perform very well. So let's go ahead and move on. The next LR that I want to talk about, a lot of LRs on this one, which is not what, like, you tell me like 2 years ago that like the best support characters in the game are all LRs. Like, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So here we go, right? Bulma, very simple. Key +3, attack and defense plus 30% for 2 turns with 5 more key spheres obtained. Very easy to get. She's got her damage reduction. Individually, she works out very well. And the Power of Wishes team is now sort of like relevant again with the Super Saiyan Trio lead. Because the old Power of Wishes leaders were the GT Duo and the Buu Duo, who obviously were not runnable in most content these days, just because both those releases were interesting. I mean, the GT Duo on release was obviously very good, but they are not quite what they used to be anymore. But obviously this support that she is giving, you know, the 37%, and then she's also going to be giving extra key on her active skill as well as support like that, and she's going to be orb changing and stuff like that. This is a very, very good character. She has damage reduction, she has support, and she's just going to make the team look very good when you can use her. So she's not a must run on all of her teams, right? Like you can definitely get away with like a Power of Wishes team that she's probably not on. So like if we pull this up, she might be a must run on this category. Yeah, probably. Yeah. She's probably a must run on Power of Wishes, huh? It just depends on how you want to like split it, right? Because you could potentially you could add like the additional Super Saiyan and the other one, right? So you could add All Out Struggle or Super Saiyans into that, right? So the next character we're going to talk about, you guys know how Bulma works at this point, 37% support, obviously very good. Additional support as well. Beast Gohan, we'll talk about this one very quickly. On his unit super attack, we're getting extra crit chance, and then he is giving 3 key when he gets hit. So it just helps with the team, you know. And then I guess also you're getting all allies key +2 starting from the turn, which characters perform their 5th attack, right? You guys know that like this character's key support is dumb. Like the superheroes team, you're essentially always just going to be running LRs at 24 key, right? Like if you've used that team enough at this point, that's just via Beast Gohan, right? I don't want to talk about him too long. This channel is essentially just Beast Gohan, Beast Gohan, Beast Gohan. So let's go ahead and move on. Orange Piccolo, you guys know how he works at this point as well. Not quite the same super attack effects that he has for like support and stuff like that. but he does have the key after receiving an attack and stuff like that, right? So that is basically it, just extra key support. And then if you want to get technical, it's the same thing with Beast Gohan. Technically, it's support the taunt because you're hiding them from attacks, and then this is going to be protecting units from AoEs and supers as well when we go into the giant form. So a very technical support, but he is also giving key to the rest of the team when he takes a hit, so it can be very helpful if you need to toss him in slot 1 for a situation. And then he's also going to be providing that full heal at one point during the fight as well, so keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and move on. The next support unit I want to talk about is the Android 17 Universe 7 character. This one has a decent bit of stuff right here, right? We are getting attack and defense for 2 turns for 30% on the 18 key super attack, and then on the 12 key super attack, he's going to be following it up with another ally's attack and defense plus 30%, right? Now, the more important one of the bunch right here is the 18 key, because it's 2 turns, because this is a character that you are not really going to be putting in slot 1. So it's like usually both allies are not going to be seeing that on the initial turn, but the next turn they are going to be getting that buffs, right? So do keep that in mind. Just looking at this kit, right? For each rainbow key sphere obtained, they're going to be getting their own key plus 3. And then it's going to be key plus 1 attack and defense plus 7% for all allies, right? So 5 rainbow orbs, that's 35% support for the rest of the team. So very good stuff. For the rest of the turn, excuse me, right? So this character works very well, and then he's also going to be giving key plus 7 on his active skill. So a lot of support. This character works very well on the representatives of Universe 17. He basically makes the top cut for that squad, right? Because it's Tech UI, AGL UI, Evolution Blue Vegeta, I say Evo Ken, 17 and Frieza, and then 17 and Team Universe 7. So very nice character, works really well support with the representatives of Universe 17. So if you don't have this character awakened and then Extreme Z awakened, make sure you go ahead and do that. So let's move on. The Turles Crusher core. This is a really good unit for the movie bosses team, as well as Planetary Destruction. They work very well on that one. Terrified Conquerors, when that team becomes relevant again, if it does, or Space Traveling Warriors. That team is also going to be fitting well in here. So what do we have in here? We have Terrifying Conquerors or Planetary Destruction, key 3, attack and defense plus 50%. And then this character, like I said, also works very well with those teams. We have the 50% damage reduction per Conquest of Terror, or it's Terrifying Conquerors, or Planetary Destruction category ally on the team. So you run pure Planetary Destruction, this character is going to have 50% damage reduction, and they're also going to be giving key 3 and then attack and defense plus 50%. Very nice support, right? Then you're also going to be able to get the character to be super effective against all types when we are putting them in the attack down status, and we're also or we get it if key is at 20% or more, or key is 20 or more, excuse me. Then all attacks become critical hits, and we get an additional super when we're at 24 key. So I'm just saying all that to say that this is a very impressive character on the Planetary Destruction team, and he's also going to be giving support 50% to the rest of the squad as well. So Planetary Destruction is where this character is going to find himself most of the time. So if you're going to be wanting to run like a movie bosses team or something like that, it's going to fit very well if they are all on Planetary Destruction. So we have one more LR to cover for meta relevant characters, then we have 2 TURs to talk about. So LR Broly Trio, you guys know how this character works at this point, I'm sure. They are a little bit more of a fun character where you have to think about what support you want, which is always funny. But if we get 7 orbs, we have guaranteed dodge, so that is a sort of form of support. And then they are also going to be giving a heal when we go into a turn under 39% HP, because we are going to be changing all key spheres to physical. And with their defensive stat, 23 physical orbs is usually going to result in a full heal. Excuse me. So 7 key spheres or more, we are going to be getting, like I said, we are going to be getting guaranteed dodging, like I said, a form of support. And then also we have an additional 3 support procs here. So we go AGL or STR key spheres, we are giving key plus 2 and then attack plus 39%. If we go tech or int, we go defense 39% with extra key. And then if we go rainbow key spheres, we are going to be giving attack and defense of 15%. So this is a nice little support unit, right? This character works well on the movie bosses team. But this character runs into a bit of a conflict of interest with Turles because they are not on Terrifying Conquerors and they are not on Planetary Destruction. So if you're going to be running like a specific setup, it's either this character or Turles, because you're running Turles at not full strength if you run both of these characters on the same team. It's not like the end of the world, but it is at least something to talk about. So we have 2 more characters here. These are both going to be super easy ATURs that are both very good and they provide support. The first one being Kid Buu. Now, the Easy A, I'm pretty sure this is in here. Yeah, step 8. That is the super Easy A. So this character This was, I'm sure, a lot of people who watched YouTube, right, for Dokkan over the years, right? This is it's just kind of funny to think about, right? This is I'm trying to like figure out the proper word. The god of showcases, right? I don't know why I couldn't get that out. When HP is 70% or more, this character is going to be giving all allies 50% support, and then we are going to be giving 70% support for extreme class allies, then 60% support for super class allies. So if you run this on a Majin Buu Power team or a Majin Buu Saga team that is Buu focused, this is a 70% support character above 70% HP. And then we are also going to be giving 50% support when we are under 69% HP. But the beauty of this is that the Buu Saga team heals so much, so you're pretty much going to be above that 70% threshold for most of the fight, right? So not only is this character most of the time going to be a 70% support for like Majin Power units and stuff like that, or characters on Planetary Destruction, this character also individually can hold his own now. Now, that first attack can be a little bit rough, right? You guys can see we get damage reduction up to 40% every time a character receives attack 2 times, and then 10% HP at the end of every turn, every time they get hit 2 times as well. So they provide healing, they have their damage reduction, and then they are also going to be giving 70% support. So this is a very, very good support unit, and it works very well with the crit chance that they have. They have damage reduction now. This Super Easy 8 was very well designed, and that is why he is on this list. So the final character I want to go over in this video is going to be STR Abori. You guys know how this works at this point. Super class allies, they get a little bit of a buff, but extreme class allies is the main focus. An extra key and then attack and defense plus 20% per rainbow key sphere obtained. So that is 100% support if they get 5 rainbow key spheres. And then they're also going to be getting a chance of performing a crit and doing additional super attack for every 2 rainbow key spheres obtained. So if you run this guy next to a rainbow orb changer, the support's going to be getting pretty wicked. And then we're also going to be getting extra damage reduction per super performed. So this Broly is also the beneficiary of being on 10 teams. Pretty good for an extreme class unit. You guys know how those work at this point, but there we have it. Some of the best support units in the game. Again, this was not a ranking of 1 to the worst, right? But just in case you know, where you're listening on the monitor and you want another monitor and you want a recap, the first character that we have on here is the Super Saiyan Trio from the Broly movie. We have Tech Broly himself in his base form. We have Tech UI Goku in his domain form. We have the Gammas, the LR Gammas. We have LR Bulma. We have LR Beast Gohan for key and crit chance. We have LR Orange Piccolo for his AoE blocking, as well as his key +2 for taking attack. We have the 17 and Universe 7 character. We have the LR Turles Crusher core. We have the LR Broly trio. And then we have the Super Easy A Kid Buu and the Super Easy A for Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. So there you guys have it. The best support units in the game. Let me know what you think of this little list here that we formed in the comment section below. And if you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new, so that way you don't miss out on any of the Dokkan content that we post. Worldwide may be over, but this content train is still going. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.